Welcome, guys, here to the Freedom Revolution Network on the Freedom Revolution Network News. I'm your host, Dwayne Lanham, and this is my host, TLO. How you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing the best I can with what I got.
Right. So, guys, today we were reporting on Hurricane ISAIAS. However the fuck that's if I said that right. So, I'm just gonna get right into the jump into the bad of things. Hurricane Isaias is now being moved, has now been declared to make landfall from Florida to Wilmington, North Carolina. But TLO, here's the catch where you're going to get pissed off, right? Every year we've done hurricanes, they've
Yeah.
said take shelter, to leave and go to a shelter. TLO, tell me why they're fucking telling them to shelter in place in their own fucking home.
Because of the COVID.
But how much? That's fucking bullshit, though. We don't know how strong this thing can get.
Exactly, but that's what I was saying, and that's what most people who were thinking a lot of this through before, but had forgotten about like emergency situations because we have been dealing mostly with all this COVID, and then burning shit down. Um, we've
Right.
forgotten the fact that, like, say, if we would go back to certain other channels and what they were talking about, um, preparedness and whatnot. Um, we've forgotten the fact that this was going to happen once the natural disasters were going to happen during the pandemic. Is
Right.
there's going to be basically a choose one evil over the other, and so the evil that they're choosing is people are going to have to fend for themselves because you know damn well if you get them into the shelters, the coronavirus is going to spread like wildfire.
Right. And here's the thing with Hurricane Isaias, this thing, if I'm gonna pull a raw in here for a quick second, okay? I'm gonna use my phone. If you guys can see, that's not that far away from the coast of
No,
Florida.
isn't it supposed to make landfall later today or early tomorrow?
Later today, early tomorrow, as of right now, it's a tropical storm, but they're saying it's gonna be a category one when it makes landfall.
Yes.
But here's my thing, TLO, is I've been in hurricane situations. I've been doing this for 4 years. My fifth, right?
Right.
So and I cried when I was on the phone with Scarlett telling her the fact of the matter that how many babies, how many kids, how many adults are gonna die because they sheltered in place and their house got flooded.
Well, it could be, it's definitely going to be probably more than normal, but as far as it goes, I don't know. A lot of people of late, just due to a lot of the tragic hurricanes and natural disasters that we've had, are being a lot more cautious. So there's not as many people on the coast, especially in Florida. There's actually been somewhat of an exodus from Florida
Right.
as far as population goes, one way or another. I'm sure, some of it does play into the fact that higher, uh, elderly or advanced years, if you were, have passed, and so like there that does play into it. But for the most part, people realize that with the way things are going, with climate changes happening, who or what is the cause of it, it doesn't matter now. Like, to be
Right.
honest, like anybody who sits there and like disputes whether like, oh yeah, it doesn't exist or this and that, and like chalk it up to like politics and all that bullshit, it's basically kind of um, disregarding what the true nature of the situation is.
Right. And
And the,
even
and
though
the, and the nature of the situation is, just to be frank, is that we are kind of past the point of no return. These Greta Thunbergs and all that, like, we can do our part to try and preserve what we have, but what we
right,
have is going to become less. Like, we are going to go through food shortages. We are going to go through droughts. We are going to go through famine because of the fact that we have such a high population. And in some ways, with the coronavirus, once again, whether or not it was the government, whether or not it is actually nature taking its course and doing some sort of depopulation, and whether or not that plays into some sort of NWO, it doesn't matter now. We're past the point.
Right.
That's what people need to realize is we're past the point where it matters who started it, who did what, this and that. We need to just deal with the consequences because it's on. Like, all those movies, like they say, oh, we need to get, prepared for this and we need to do this. It's like, no, we're past that. We need to react because it's happening like right
Right.
now.
And I want to give you guys the statistics that they have on Hurricane Isaias while we're here. So this is just updated as of, well, it's going to say 5 o'clock. It's going to be updated. It is moving 27.80 north with a negative 97.80 west, moving forward with 9 miles per hour with a pressure of 994 millibars per second.
994.
994
That's
millibars.
that's a pretty strong storm.
It is, and they have it right now with 70 mile per hour wind speeds, 85-mile-hour per wind gusts, 900 miles still away from the Gulf, from the edge of Florida. Florida has already landed 36 planes at this point, and they're getting the winds, they're getting the storms. They just haven't hit landfall. Sorry, guys. Hi, Bonnie. I forgot to say hi. I'm sorry. Guys, I've done way too many hurricanes to sit here and sit around and say that them telling them to shelter in place is a bunch of bullshit. It is okay because the fact of the matter is we've seen even what a Category 1 hurricane can do to Florida.
Oh yeah,
I mean, I,
absolutely.
I mean, God, when Irma hit, Irma was a Cat 1, Cat 2. Let's see, built up in the cat, built it up in the Gulf as a Cat 1. 2 hours later was a Cat 2. A couple hours later was a Cat 3. A day later was a Cat 4. 3 hours later that day was a Cat 5, and then 2 hours later broke as a Cat 6. So we don't know what this thing's gonna do, and especially with how hot it's been, we don't know how warm the Gulf is right there by
Correct.
Florida.
Correct.
We don't know if it's
Although
gonna pick up more
it's
water.
definitely a little bit warmer than average, but it's actually not too bad because I was checking the numbers. I believe right now it is hovering into almost the 80s. So
Oh,
that's
that
not like,
thing's
I
gonna
mean,
pick
it's
up.
warm, but it's not, it's not unnecessarily or excessively warm. I just saw those numbers literally not too while ago because I was watching as our brave astronauts came back to Earth
I was watching that.
in
That's
the
cool.
Dragon. Yeah, no, I was watching that on the NASA channel live and whatnot, and I got a little teary because it is a moment. People are forgetting about that sort of shit, and that's kind of
Right.
also why I got a little teary because I was like, something positive is happening, and most people aren't paying attention to it because they're dealing with the politics or whether or not TikTok is going to be here or whether or not Biden and Trump are going to duke it out in like a actual slugfest on the stage. Like all that stupid bullshit. They're not like
It's turning
appreciating and
into that.
noticing. Yeah, and noticing like the good stuff or like any of the positive things that are happening in our world. Everything is just negative. And this is coming from a pretty pessimistic guy. All right, y'all. There's a lot of reasons why I am a very grumpy old man.
Oh,
And
shut up.
oh no, I'm old. I'm soon going to be 42, and I knew that was going to be like the number because 42. That's the answer, the supreme answer to
Everything.
life and the universe and all that. 42.
Right.
That's what the great computer figured out.
Right. And like TLO and like me and you talked about this before with Scarlet, there's that fucking reef that sits about 400, 500 miles away from Florida. Now, mind you, I don't know how many hurricanes over the past 4 years have literally took a fucking shot at this thing to break that bitch. Right?
Right.
You got to think last year's hurricane tried to literally sit there and fucking break it, and that bitch sat for 3 fucking days trying to break that bitch open. How much stronger is that reef gonna be this time to where that hot water is just not, it's not gonna fucking, it's just gonna fucking break. That hot water's gonna come up from the fucking bottom, and we're gonna look at a Cat 6 or Cat 7 fucking hurricane. That's
I
gonna
doubt.
rip through the East Coast.
I really dubious of that scenario playing out. This is gonna be a decent hurricane. I believe it'll get up to probably about a 2 or 3, just to be fair. Um, I don't necessarily follow hurricanes that much. I do follow the tornadoes and whatnot that from my old storm chasing days. So I do pay attention to that. But with the hurricanes, a lot of it has to do with a lot of the energies too in the atmosphere as
Yep.
well. People don't realize that there's a lot of stuff that in the atmosphere has to happen too. Yes, the waters do play a huge part,
Water plays a
but what's
good
going
90% part.
absolutely, yeah, absolutely. But the winds and what's going on happen as well. Because
Right.
I believe I've seen there's been instances where there's counter storms, stuff like that, and there's a lot of activity going on. Granted, not too much over the Midwest or anything like that. So we have probably what would be considered a weather bubble going on. We were supposed to get storms, and we got a little bit of rain last night. Like there was, I think, maybe 1 or 2 uh, lightning and crashes of thunder, but nothing significant. The rain only lasted maybe 40 minutes, maybe an hour, so it wasn't like super huge by any means. But it's been fairly calm, open skies, decent weather, warm but not too warm, not overly oppressive. So we have a bubble in place. And so the bubble is going to keep a lot of this stuff um, pushed away if you look at it, geographically. And that's why they have the track of the storm kind of skittering along the coast, is because that weather bubble is in place. And
Oh,
so
it
you see a
is.
lot of the yeah, so you see a lot of the storms or any of the activity that's happening as far as weather goes, like on the peripheries. So you'd say probably around in, the Georgia, Kentucky, Tennessee area, you probably see some storm action. Probably a little bit in Texas, probably around maybe around Colorado, that sort of thing. So you'd see like this nice little circle area where there you'd see like weather patterns and like storms developing, but you wouldn't see them like moving across like traditional weather fronts would from west to east or anything like that. And so that bubble is going to
Right.
protect not only us but probably you a little bit. You might get a few storms from the peripheries, but that's also going to play its part as far as the track of this hurricane. And so it's going to keep jutting out to the coast, and it depends on how much in place this bubble is. And so
Right.
if
And
the bubble remains, then it's going to keep its course out to the sea or the ocean, whatever.
right. And
If
I want
it
to show you
doesn't,
guys something. Keep going, Tito.
that's the point. If it doesn't stay in place, if the bubble basically bursts, then you could see some really bad
Oh yeah.
stuff happen from the hurricane, because then the track will change. Then I guarantee it'd probably veer a little bit more inland and probably hit, say, as I said before, like the Georgia, Atlanta, that a little bit. The Carolinas more. Instead of going pushing out to sea, it would come more inland. And so that
So
that
this
that's
is
that's to be yeah. You can see the track, and it should kind of go off the coast. It might hit around Cape Hatteras and all that jazz and whatnot, but for the most part, it's going to stay away. But if say
look at the
that
knots
bubble,
though.
oh yeah, no, oh
So
yeah,
so so if you look, so when I track hurricanes, I always use the National Hurricane Center, which is what I'm using right now, nhc.noaa.gov,
right,
because I've used this site for every hurricane I've tracked, every hurricane I've mapped. Spaghetti models is where I get all my shit from. So the main thing that I'm worried about, which is right here, I can't move my cursor, but when it says maximum sustained winds, right? It was 6 earlier, a little bit ago, it was 30 knots with about 30 or 40 miles per hour, right?
Right.
It's now sitting at 60 knots with 70 miles per hour. Go to the minimum central pressure, which is where the eye is at. That's the center. So what they're talking about is the pressure inside of the hurricane, which is the eye of it. Because the eye of any hurricane can be seen from outside of the world. It's pretty easy, which everyone thinks that I'm fucking insane. Look where it's located at. So if I do 27.8 west and 27.8 north and 79.8 west with a movement north to northwest at 8 knots with 9 miles per hour moving that way. That's how much forward it's moving. But here's the thing, they got the projected path coming up this way into say about right here is New Jersey, I believe. TLO, correct me if I'm wrong. I think like right here or right here is New Jersey.
Well, yeah,
It got
I think it's still a little bit further off the coast. At least the one that I saw, I'd say of like 6 this morning.
this
So
was
unless it
just
was
updated at
updated.
5.
Okay.
Yeah, this was up. Let me get back out so I can show you. Damn it. Sorry guys, I'm still trying to learn how to use my new computer. Since I got it working. Yeah, this was updated as 5 p.m. today on Sunday, August 2nd. And then look back here. Aha. Look at that motherfucker. You have another one, not that fucking far away. I say that's probably about 1,000 miles away from each other. Now, let's look what it says. Showers and thunderstorms associated with a tropical wave located a couple hundred miles east of the Leeward Islands are slowly becoming better organized. Environmental conditions are forecast to be conducted for the additional development during the next few days, and a tropical depression could form by the middle of next week. This system is forecast to move northwestern over the western Atlantic early this week, which is the same fucking area that motherfucker's going. That ISAIAS is going. Formation chance through 48 hours is medium to 40%. Formation chance through 5 days is a medium 6%. Now, with 5 days, guys, I'm going to tell you, this one that I'm on now is going to be about right here, somewhere in this quadrant. Okay? This motherfucker has already blew through shit down here in the Bahamas and everything. Puerto Rico and the Bahamas have been dead. One's dead from the Bahamas and one's dead from Puerto Rico that we know of. But the one that I'm worried about is this because of it's sitting TLO right where that fucking reef is at, like I'm saying, right there. And TLO and all these fucking hurricanes have sat and beat the shit out of this fucking reef every fucking year. Irma did the same thing, which is when she became a category 6 and beat the fucking shit out of it. The one last year did. Florence fucking beat the fuck out of it. TLO, how much can this thing honestly hold?
Probably a lot, considering it's been around a lot longer than probably either one of us.
Right. And you know, and that's all of, our worries, with, because me and Scarlett have years of talking about this and I've been in zones, and TLO, like the thing I'm afraid of is, this thing getting stronger and these people have nowhere to go.
Well, that's the thing is they, you know,
You,
it's gonna be either or, and you're gonna have to pick your battles because yes, they don't have anywhere to go. But if they did have a place to go, it's all but guaranteed that, especially in Florida, that they would catch the coronavirus. And so if they were, immunocompromised or anything like that, they'd basically be dead anyways. Just to be honest,
right.
let's be totally real, especially right now with Florida being a hotspot, as it were, for the coronavirus. If they were to have people go to the shelters, the coronavirus would spread like wildfire. And the only way, and this sounds cruel, the only way that we would be able to contain it would to literally be cutting Florida off from the rest of the United States.
And you know what? You make a point saying that. I'm just worried about all these people, TLO, because we've seen how much damage Florida's still partially recovering from all the hurricanes they had in
Well,
this state.
they're always in a recovery mode because that's one of the things, the double-edged sword of life. Like you have to take the good, you have to take the bad with the good because it's always going to be there. And I, being of somewhat a Taoist faith, um, kind of follow that principle somewhat more to a T than others. Um, so if you live in Florida, a beautiful state in a lot of ways, you have to deal with the bad. And the bad is you are geographically located in basically like a target. It's not even like an area or whatever like you would consider Tornado Alley. It is literally a effing target because Florida gets dinged pretty much 80% of the time when you have the season happen. So they're almost
Right.
always yearly going through some sort of damage recovery, like yearly, like
Yeah.
regardless.
And you know what? And and like the thing is, is like I do feel bad for that state.
Well, of
You,
course, like it's a beautiful state. I've been there quite a few times. I'd say almost next to Illinois and Chicago, but that's
you
just
know,
proximity, people.
and there's a possible chance on the extent of damaging, that I'll be going in to Florida to help, you know, with the rebuild process. And thanks to Scarlett, and I love this woman to death. If I have to go to Florida this year, I don't want to. Now y'all know I don't like taking my asses into these fucking zones if I don't have to. Elo even knows
Well, well, the thing about it, man, and I'm gonna put this out there, especially since most people don't realize it, but I am a father, and so I'm gonna put this out there, Dwayne. You are now a father to a
that.
child.
I know I'm going after the aftermath after everything's done to rebuild.
So you have to take that into account, and you have to be a lot more careful in your decision making going forward. I mean, yeah, you
And
can offer yourself and volunteer yourself for certain things, but you have to always kind of keep that in the back of your mind.
and I have, and I even told Scarlett that today on the phone. Like I am afraid to go. If the damage is necessary. But I won't be going down there and doing this shit for free. Scarlett's going to get me hooked up with a team that will pay me $25 an hour for 2 weeks to go out there and do the cleanup process and do the rebuilding process.
Yeah, but you'll be stuck a lot longer than 2 weeks because I guarantee you by that time
I'll
there is
probably
going
be
to
done.
be so many, yeah, travel restrictions, and they'll have that quarantine spot in place. If anybody travels to the state, they'll have to go and quarantine for 14 days
You know
afterward.
what? And I'm okay with that. And I've already talked to the baby mom. I already talked to her about it, and I told her like, "Hey, look, this is happening." And she said, "Dwayne, if you have to go, go. Your son will be here when you get home." Julie understands, what I do, and it can get a little risky even with COVID going on. Which is why I really don't want to go. But like my mom has even told me, if it gets to that point where you have to go, go. Because I follow, and a lot of people don't understand this with me being a father. I go bottom of my heart. I don't, I don't want to go. I don't want to be in Florida. I don't, which is why I'm praying this thing does not fucking turn into a Cat 1. That's why I'm praying this bitch stays as a tropical storm and they just get rain and a little flooded. That's all I'm fucking praying for is that I don't gotta go. Because I'm gonna give y'all a little fucking story. As I've said this before, most of you know I was there after the aftermath of Harvey. You've heard this story.
Yes.
I was there for search. I'm trusting my gut feeling, Bonnie,
Yeah, Bonnie's got a good point.
which is why,
Like a
which is,
very, very good point.
yep, I'm
Like
trusting my,
it's not just a present excuse me, clear and present danger, but all that
yep,
that
which is
is incurred.
why if my gut tells me to go, I'm gonna go. If it's not, then I won't. Trust me, I don't do. I'm okay. I'm like Gibbs. Has anyone here ever watched NCIS?
No,
TLO?
I do not.
You've never watched it?
Never.
Okay, so Bonnie and them might know what I'm talking about. I'm like
I know
Gibbs.
about the Gibbs slap because they made memes and all that, but yeah.
I don't know because I just learned about it
Yeah,
today.
see, exactly. And I would side with BJ slash Bonnie on this one. Like, especially if you have a very strong feeling against going. Like
It's
even if you have a calling, if you have that weird that spider tingle, the spider senses, man. You know what I'm
uh,
saying, bro?
right. I know what you're saying, and it's not that I don't have that gut feeling of I don't want to go, and this is where the story entails into this. This is where this story comes in, so I can kind of help you all understand. The reason I don't want to go is because when I was in Harvey, when after the aftermath of Harvey was done, I bagged and tagged over 450 bodies within a 4 day span. I was pulling about 100 bodies a day, and 90% of the I wouldn't say 90, I'd say about 35% of the body I was bagging and tagging and putting in freezers. Ice cream parlors, God, ice cream parlors, police stations, pizza parlors. It was any fucking place TLO had a freezer.
Yes.
Was babies. TLO, babies. Little babies. TLO
No,
is the
I understand.
reason why I don't want to go. Because I don't want to see that again. But me and Scarlett even had a phone call. She went like, I know you don't want to go, but if it's placed on your heart to go, then go. I do have repressed PTSD, and I'm working on it with a counselor at this point. Everybody knows I go through counseling. I mean, even TLO knows because I've talked about some of my counseling sessions with him and told him how I truly, honestly feel about counseling. It's just with this hurricane, man. I've seen way too many come through the coast. I've seen way too many.
No, this is going to be a bad one. Like it's definitely not going to be up there with, Harvey or Katrina or anything like that, but it's going to be a bad one. And to be honest, we've been somewhat spoiled because we didn't really have like a very bad one last year. Like
We had two. We had two.
we had some pretty decent ones. Let's just be real. Because I think the number of deaths were under 100 for each one, so that's always good.
I think the last one we had because we had the one that came into Florida but didn't hit Florida, it hit South Carolina and everything.
Correct. Yeah.
And then we had the tropical storm that some fucking how hit Louisiana.
Right. And yeah, for that one that kind of veered or whatever, I believe it was like around 80 people that had died. So, I
That
mean,
the one in Louisiana, not really many people died in that one. It was more flooding than anything, and we had boots on the ground within the hour
correct.
that
A
I
lot
was
more people are doing
looked
that.
up. The
Yeah,
hour
a lot.
Scarlett looked me up, I was on the phone with the EOC contact and getting boats and stuff out.
Yeah, and there is a lot more of that, and especially like right now, since people have become so tribal, the people around them, for the most part, are the people that they trust, and so that's why you see some of these communities coming off as blatantly a certain way over another. We'll just say, not to delve into the politics since we're keeping it to hurricanes and all that. Um, so like there will be people helping people out uh, a lot more because a lot more people understand how the strife is, that the struggle is real because everyone's going through the struggle right now through the pandemic. And so
Oh
I
yeah,
believe that there'll be more people looking out for each other. And so that is going to be one thing that you'll have to take into account is there will be people there to help people, even in these times. And I believe more so on an individual, on like a neighborhood level, as opposed to like a FEMA or, the sheriff's office or any emergency response teams. I think it'll be individuals in the neighborhoods, people in the community that'll be stepping up and being there more for their neighbors and their community. And that's going to help soften the blow, so to speak, because obviously anytime you have a hurricane, it's always bad. But you can try and mitigate that by being as prepared as you can and trying to protect the sanctity as many lives as you can. So,
Right. Well, Bonnie, that's the thing. They're not evacuating anybody at this point. And that's the sad thing of the fact is
that
they're
is,
not
and that's a sad thing. That is, and that's a very scary proposition. And that's what I'm saying is this is a Russian roulette, so to speak,
they're
proposition.
yeah, the state of Florida, which is where the National Hurricane Center is. The National Hurricane Center and the people are playing with people's lives.
Yes. But
You know, it,
that's been the whole policy, or I would say what basically has been happening or transpiring in America since the beginning of this year is we've been playing with people's lives through this pandemic. So this is just another variation on top of it.
right. And I don't agree with the way how they're playing with these lives.
Well, obviously.
If you guys would have heard some of the calls that I have gotten that we've had over Zello, and I'll bring one up. And I really don't talk about this, but I'm going to, because it pertains to this situation. When you have an elderly person, I think it was either an elderly person or a younger person on the phone on Zello saying they're trapped under a tree and it's down on their waist and they can't move. And this is in the middle of the hurricane, and TLO, the only thing they have to do and sit there and do is pray with them and tell them that you're going to be okay and hear them drown. It's, and me and Scarlett were involved in that call, and it turned into a three-way phone call at that point with this person,
Right.
And, you don't know what this thing's going to do. And I'm calling it a thing because I don't want to speak life into this fucking thing. Like Red said on Sunday, you don't want to speak life into something that's negative. So with this thing, we don't know how strong this thing's gonna get. We don't know if this thing's gonna be a higher cat than what it is. And I'm really trying to remain optimistic here. You know what I mean, Teal?
Yes.
Is I'm trying to remain optimistic. I'm trying to remain positive. I'm trying to fucking just get rid of what my fucking head's telling me, going like, and all the negative shit that's going through my brain, going like, oh, this is gonna be bad. There's gonna be people. There's gonna be death. There's gonna be this. There's gonna be that. You know what? When we speak things like that out of our mouth, 9 times out of 10 they come true. And TLO, that's something you've even told me. When I was going through that really fucking negative stage of my life, going like, "Oh, this is gonna happen. This is gonna happen." Because you, my mom, and Scarlett have yelled at my ass for it many times. You
Yes.
know, you know,
Well, I was always taught that, unless you ask, the answer is no. So you just kind of go about and just see what happens as opposed to fretting or overthinking the situation, which I'm very, very capable of doing in pretty much every situation is overthinking it. But for me, yeah, it came to realization through relationships, though I still haven't found proof otherwise. But for me, yes, speaking negatively into a situation, it doesn't help the situation. Though for me, I've spoke positively into situations and still had the same end results. So, there is that.
Right. And I'm trying to see when the next update on this thing is.
I would say probably not until like 10, 11-ish tonight.
I'm looking because I think they come out every 4 hours. So I want to sit here and in TLO, you've never heard me really do this. I want to give tips for anybody from Florida that's watching this. If you live in a 3-story house, that means basement, first floor, no, main floor, first floor, and an attic. There is one
Correct.
place in the house you do not want to go unless there's a window in that place.
Yes.
Never go in your attic unless you have to, and make sure you have something you can chop through a wall with.
Absolutely. An
I'm
axe, a
talking
hatchet.
axe, hatchet, chainsaw, something.
Yep.
Always make sure you have rechargeable batteries. Never keep your phone on.
No.
Shut your phone off, keep it charging, and only turn it on every 4 to 6 hours to listen for updates. I myself, I'm going to try to be on as much as I can tonight and give updates. Whether you follow it on the FRN network page on Facebook, whether you follow it here live when we're live, whether you follow me on Facebook, I will try to keep it live as much as I can. Two, make sure you have perished, what are they called, TLO? Non-perishables.
Yes.
That means canned food, noodles, stuff like that you can cook like on a hot stove. You have asthma. I learned this from an old friend of mine. You got asthma and your inhaler's gone. You can boil some fucking water, go outside, and let that bitch fucking sit in front of that bitch. Let that shit boil. Breathe in the steam of it. It's gonna be hot. It's gonna hurt a little bit, but it's gonna open up your airways.
Yes.
Two, that's three. Four. That's four. Four, make sure you have a first aid kit handy. Make sure you have bottled water. Make sure your windows are boarded up. Anything you can to stop water from coming inside the house. Sandbags in front of your doors. Make sure you are away from all windows at all times. That means center of the room, which I'm not really providing. Okay, in my bedroom, I'm by 3 windows, dude. There's no escaping my. If I was in a hurricane situation right now, TLO, I'd be fucked.
Yes.
Because I'll show y'all. Hold on. Let me unplug my computer. I have a window there. I have a window there. As y'all can see, I have 4 windows, 2 windows there. So if anything was to happen in my area, like a hurricane or everything, not a hurricane, but a tornado, 9 times out of 10, I'm fucked. I'm dead. Now, Tilo, do you have anything to add to what I'm adding?
No.
You used to chase tornadoes. Do you want to give them any update on that? Because we know it does happen with hurricanes.
Oh yeah. I
You
mean
used
that's the total tricky part is like
the storm
especially
chase.
when you're talking about the hurricane that spawns tornadoes. Those tornadoes are very very prolific and they're a lot more harder or more difficult to track just because they're spinning off of a lot of residual energy from the hurricane. And so since they only have the radar and radar only goes so far. I'll just
It
be
does.
honest, especially with those sort of tornadoes. Like when you can see them in the supercells and in Tornado Alley, that's one thing. But when you have chain line of storms that are constantly like blowing up, blowing back, blowing out, and then coming back in a different form or even in a different place, like the variables like throw everything off. But just be prepared. The windows thing is the most important, like for
Mm-hmm.
hurricanes and for tornadoes. um more importantly, for the tornadoes, is it would be good and advised, especially for people who have pets, to know where your pets are at any given time. Definitely make sure that they're in carriers or some sort of pen or something, as you may need to get into a more covered situation than just being in the center of a room. Like you may have to try and get underneath a mattress or something like that if a tornado comes along. Although I'll be honest, for folks up in Florida, with the exception of, say, I would say some of the areas of Miami, a little bit in Jacksonville, you don't have to worry too much about 3 stories, because they really do not build houses in Florida like 3 stories unless you're spending some decent money. Just because the insurance for that is a lot higher, the liabilities and whatnot, because of said hurricanes and whatnot. So I've all the places that I've been in Florida, I have never seen more than like maybe a 2-floor residence, and I'm talking about some decent, lavish homes as well. And so the most important part is like doing that, being close to a bathtub, because that would help, especially in the hurricane situation. Um, that's going to be what I would suggest for folks. I know bathtubs, especially down in Florida, are not built anywhere like the way that they are built in the Midwest
Yeah,
or Ohio.
dude, we got cast iron fucking tubs here.
Exactly. No, we still have a lot of that here as well, because we have a lot of the brownstone, early 1900s apartment complexes and older buildings that reside here in Minneapolis and whatnot. And so you do still have a lot of the clawfoot, the iron, those things, man. You could jump in there,
And ride that
and
bitch out.
yeah, you could ride serious uh, serious weather situation out in one of those things. You really could. Because
Right.
things you would see, it would be like one of those horror movies, because you'd see on the side of the thing like dents forming from all the, 2x4s being flung around at, high velocity. But you would be inside safe.
Now there is one thing that we are forgetting. If you go in a bathtub, take your mattress with you.
Well, yes. You
Take
have
your
to cover
mattress.
yourself. You have to cover yourself. You can't just sit in the tub and expect to ride that bitch like, say, like the Wicked Witch is riding on her bike in a tornado. It just does not work like that.
Wizard Wizard of Oz fucking reference. Trying to make a best here in the FRM news. You
Yes,
know,
trying to
but
bring a little levity to a situation that obviously is going to be grim in a lot of ways.
and you know, and the
Especially for
one
you.
thing and the one thing I wanted to talk about too, since we're on the fact of the tornadoes here, these things can pop spontaneous, like spontaneously like that out of nowhere.
Yes,
Has
that's what I
anyone?
mean.
I'm gonna go like the movie Twister.
Oh, it'd
Let
be
me.
worse than that. It'd be worse than that.
Yeah, it's gonna be 5 times worse. You're gonna think you're gonna see a fucking cow, and you're gonna see like 20.
Because with those, like the supercells are so smaller and finite. Like you can have a supercell that'd be maybe a couple of blocks big, and it could
Right.
spawn off a little tornado. Like that's the point, is like it's not like a storm front or like a huge supercell that you would see in traditional spaces like Texas, like Oklahoma, like Nebraska, like
Cal-
Iowa, like Minnesota, you know?
California, because
Yeah,
they got Death Valley.
California is starting to have a lot more activity as far as tornadoes go. They have in the last I would say 2 to 3 decades, more so than usual. That's for
It's
sure.
it's bad enough with these hurricanes. We can't even put them in a category. Well, not category, not hurricanes. Damn it! With these tornadoes, we can't even put them in a category.
Well, yeah, some of them they're still trying to figure stuff out. And I knew that was going to happen, especially with we have the change of weather patterns with climate change. So a lot of these storms are going to change how they go about being storms, to be honest. And
Right.
so
Like,
hopefully this hurricane is not like a forbearance of things to come, and it decides in its mind of its own to become something new, because that would be the true
right.
tragedy. That would be the true tragedy. I
Right.
expect it to be a bad hurricane, and hurricanes are bad, but I expect it to be a decent bad one. But hopefully, what you need to keep in mind, or if you want to say, thinking positively, think of it as, it's going to happen. You just don't want it to be one of those that mutates, that changes, that
Ye-
becomes something else.
Right. And when we look at, tornadoes, TLO, because I've done a little bit of storm chasing myself, we always categorize them between an F1 and an F5. One being not, it's not going to be a complete shithole. The five, where you're going like you're going to have miles and miles upon miles of destruction. Because sometimes the way tornadoes build and tornadoes build up is by what they collect through the path they take, houses, trees, and that's sometimes how they keep building. Yellow, correct me if I'm wrong.
It can play a part, absolutely.
Or by like I've seen literally tornadoes that have caught fire in the middle of it because they fucking hit an electrical pole. And now something within the tornado has caught fire, and now you have a fucking tornado that's literally on fire. Which was weird, but I didn't want to see that, but I did. So let's go take a look at this other bastard that's sitting back here, TLO. After I turn my screen share back on. Ew. Here we are. Sorry, guys, my computer's being a little bit slow today. It just got done updating and I'm on it already. So we have this here, TLO. And then we have this guy. Okay. Now, you still with me, TLO?
Yes.
So when it says there's a 40% chance of a cyclone formation in 48 hours, I want to talk about this. So what it means is that cyclone info, when it says that, the chance of the formation right here, if I can click on it and actually move my thing. No, I can't move it. Okay, it took me some. Yay. Cool. All right. So I have a better fucking view of this thing. I love this. Oh my god. Okay. So look at how do you pronounce ISAIAS. Look at how big the eye is right here where my cursor's at. That fucking center TLO is huge. Now look at this little guy. Not as big as her, right?
Right.
But look how big it is already with it just forming in the ocean. It doesn't even have an eye yet. It's just the fucking dust. So when
Right.
that cyclone hits, right here is probably going to be about the eye, right where I'm sitting. And you can tell you have other storms like right here, right in here, back up in here. Ooh, look at that, Tila.
Yeah. Business is picking up in the Atlantic.
And then let's go click on ECA since I can click on her. Yeah, let's see if I can get a better eye on her. Oh yeah, fucking look at that. Fucking look at that, TLO. So it's not supposed to make landfall until 2 p.m. Monday morning.
Right. 2 a.m.
It's gonna
Monday
fucking
morning.
2 p.m. right here.
Well, then it wouldn't be Monday morning. It'd be in the afternoon.
And I'm trying to blow it up for you guys so you can see a little bit. I'm not used to this yet. Haven't done this in years. So you can see right here, it's gonna come onto the fucking land. And what's it gonna do is gonna fucking pop right back out into the fucking water and shoot back that way.
Yes.
But
So
it's
it's
saying the
coming in.
forecast
It's
was
coming more into the coast.
Right, but if you go down over here where it says forecast positioning, tropical cyclone with sustained winds of 110 miles per hour. 110, TLO. How the fuck is that a tropical storm anymore? That's a fucking hurricane.
Yeah, I thought the hurricanes, if you wanted to say like a category one or whatever, would be what, 80 miles per hour, right?
Cat 1 is normally about 80 miles per hour. You're right.
So yeah, definitely that does sound odd that they say 110 miles per hour and it's still a tropical storm. That does sound odd.
So like I'm sitting here, and I'm going like, what the fuck is Florida doing? Why is Florida doing it? It's just
I
back
don't
of
think
my
anybody
head,
I don't think anybody, including Florida, knows what Florida's doing.
like in the back of my head, I just want to yell at these people going like, you fucking dumbasses.
Yes, there's a lot of that feeling and thoughts as well for a
And
lot of
they are being fucking dumbasses. I will say it on air. I have never been so fucking angry with the state as I am today. I'm not even as mad at my own fucking state, and I should be pissed off at my fucking governor because he ruined the fucking bars. Asshole. But shit, fucking sending people to their death for what? Because you're overpopulated? Because you can't deal with your homeless people? Because you got a fucking pandemic?
well,
Like,
mostly the latter.
right. I just named 50% of the fucking ladder right there, TLO.
Well, the most of it is definitely the pandemic. I'm sure there might be other minor variables, but that for the moment is the biggest one. Because we haven't seen it yet, but just imagine what happens if something were to happen and Cascadia were to fall. Like that's what I'm saying is like you would have a similar situation, like people needing shelter. Excuse me, people needing treatment as well. But you have a pandemic and you have it in a hot state.
Correct.
So you would also have one of these situations where you'd see them acting somewhat contrary to what would be normally associated with response to emergency situations. Let's just be honest.
Right. You know, I'm irritated. I'm hurt.
We've noticed.
Dude, I'm passionate when it comes to this damn thing, dude.
Yes,
Bonnie
noticed that
said
as well.
Bonnie said I could hear you clear in the other room, Dwayne, making fried green zucchini.
Ha.
Like my mom, dude, is just so done with all the fucking death that's happening. You got COVID-19 and now people are gonna die by a hurricane.
Yes.
Like, God, can we come to our senses for once in our fucking life?
Well, this is maybe the year where we realize that a lot of this shit is out of our control. Even though we try our best to control a lot of our environments around us. It's maybe
Yeah,
the maybe one of those existence wise wake up calls, so to speak.
I'm done with the bullshit. I'm done. And I think we've pretty much really covered everything here in an hour because I'm not going to take up any much more time because Tim comes on here and probably about an hour. I think right now we're just going to talk a little bit, and get some positive shit into this. TLO, I went out and did a thing.
Well, it's always good to do things.
Hold on, I'll show you guys the thing that I did that irritated my mother a little bit.
Oh, he has to get up to get a thing.
So Dwayne went out and did a thing. TLO, I've been talking about doing this thing for months. And once I show you guys the thing, once I'm done getting the sticker off it, because the game's no longer in it. I just want the fucking sticker off of it, you fucking bastard. Thank you. No more sticker. TLO, I finally went out and did my thing. I did my thing, TLO.
Oh, yes.
I did my thing. And
And
I
we can
couldn't have.
see, yeah, we could see why someone would be irritated.
I bought my thing. It's the one thing I wanted. One thing. One thing, TLO.
Trust me, it's usually the one thing that you want that everybody wants you not to have.
Right? Oh, she didn't want me wanting it. She just wanted me to wait. But when the price drops down from $80 to 100, from $80 to $50, it's a fucking deal.
No, $50 isn't bad.
Bonnie, I love you too, and I know you guys love me when I'm upset. I really shouldn't be stressing myself out either. Since I was just in the fucking ER last night. Way to go, Dwayne. Way to go, Dwayne.
Yeah, especially getting worked up like that.
Dude, I was in the fucking hospital because of cluster seizures again last night.
Mm. Well,
Yeah,
that's you gotta bring those stress levels down, bro.
bro. Here's the thing. I wasn't even stressed out or anything yesterday.
Well, you've been working on it for the last couple of weeks, so you always have to remember it's a buildup.
And like I was at a drag event last night. We had a drag queen fest last night. And it was fun as shit. I'm not even gonna lie. TLO.
Yeah, I haven't been to one in a long time, but yeah, they
But
are.
watching them dance and lip sync the songs and everything, TLO, it was so much fun. So I will say this. I will ask you this. What have you done to treat yourself this week, TLO? What have you done for you? Let's hear about TLO. Have you went out and bought any new movies?
Yeah, actually, not this week. I haven't really treated myself this week. I don't know.
When you going out and treating yourself, dude?
I know this week has been kind of a little bit more blue than most, so I haven't really been thinking about myself in that way. So,
Normally, I've fucking been hearing every other week that you're going out and buying new movies
yes, and new clothes and stuff like that
and new clothes because what have you done to help others?
to help others.
Yeah,
Well, I've donated to a bunch of places, so there is that.
you've donated to the Night Talk. You've donated to here. You bought someone a shirt, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I've actually bought numerous people items of clothing. So,
How did that work out? Like, what? Tell us a couple of stories of how that happened. Just some positivity on this shit.
well, they just needed things, and I got them for them. There's nothing really special or some magical Hallmark movie moment and shit. It's my life's pretty plain, and yeah, it's lost its magic and kind of all the bright, cheery stuff a long time ago. So.
That's what Bonnie said to you. It's a new week today. Have some fun or get something that makes you go, wow.
That's a new week. A new. Hopefully, I won't, but it does look like so far I'll be working 6 days this week, but we'll see.
Do you even know your schedule yet for this week?
at one job. The other job, the retail is it's too fluid, so they usually I'll get their schedule I think a little bit later, yeah, in like an hour or so, because they're just closed now, and so they do it after the day is done and the manager's in the office, and she'll send them out email. So I'll know in a few hours.
I'm off for the next 5 days again. I've been off for this week. I'll be off for 6 fucking days. I wanted to go into work last night.
Yeah.
Dwayne wanted to go to work. Dwayne has fun at work. TLO.
Well, that's good.
Me and my manager,
There's some positivity in your life.
dude, were picking on each other like no other, and it was
Well,
just
see,
fun.
yeah, see, as long as it's, back and forth and you guys keep it at that, that's fine.
I do get called, an idiot here and there because sometimes I shut my drawer without handing change out. It,
Gotta remember that.
everybody's done it. Bonnie said I walked down to Dick's restaurant this morning and we ate outside and I went off my keto diet. It was really good. Walked 3 miles.
See, there's some positivity for you, Dwayne.
Hell yeah! I started drinking Gatorade today to keep my body hydrated because water, some reason my body won't hydrate with water anymore. Probably because I've drank too fucking much of it.
That's a possibility.
Dude, I used to drink water like it was fucking candy. I start my depression meds tomorrow. If that's positive, that's a positive. Oh, they brought Sherman out a treat. They brought water for Sherman. They brought water and a treat out for Sherman. I would say another, thing is bills are paid. Bills are paid, and it's good to have bills paid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll be paying rent here in a few minutes. I could pay it now, but I'm just on air, so
Oh, you pay your rent online?
yeah. I literally, it's like 6 buttons on my phone and my rent's paid. I've got it set up that way for most of my stuff, so it's kind of funny. Like you literally said, "Oh yeah, my bills are paid." I was like, "Oh yeah, I haven't paid rent yet. I'll just pay it in like a few minutes."
well, well, you'll pay it when we're done.
Yeah, exactly.
Another thing is my next paycheck, I'm gonna go get me a vape. I'm gonna try
Yeah,
to quit smoking.
yeah. I need to cut down on these fucking black and milds, but
I hear you over there coughing on that fucking thing.
well, this is my second one today. But to be fair, I have been up since 5, so
Bonnie said I paid my credit card balance today online. Nice.
that is nice. Yeah, I think I've got about $230 on mine.
Dwayne's applying for a credit card.
Well, good luck, man. Shit, what you need to do is go into fucking if there's any Banana Republics anywhere near you, go in there and open up a credit card, man. It's simple as pie, and they're pretty good, or I wouldn't say they're like lax, but they they have better credit acceptance. We'll just say.
Yeah, Walmart won't give me a credit card through them, so I'm gonna try Amazon next to see if I can't get a credit card through Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon would probably give you a credit card. Amazon would probably give my cat Garfield a credit card.
How is Garfield? How is Garfield since you decided to run into a fucking wall? Did I get more guitar picks yet? Not yet. I'm going sometime this week when I donate to get me more guitar picks and strings.
Okay.
Dwayne is restringing his guitar. I gotta treat my guitar a little bit better. I need to restring my guitar like every 6 months, but I normally do it once every year.
Yeah, I need to get a new keyboard. Mine's getting old. The
No,
touch sensitivity on the keys is going out, but it is, to be fair, almost a 10-year-old keyboard. So
so you guys want to know the story behind this guitar.
Sure, we can hear a story about a guitar.
So this is how I got my beautiful Jasmine, and that's literally the name of my guitar. It's a girl, since it's named Jasmine. No, I don't have sex with it, so I'm going to throw that out there now.
Oh, Dwayne.
Nah, I'm throwing that out there now. There's someone might watch it and like, oh, he has a guitar that's girl that's named Jasmine. He might be fucking the thing. No, not the case. So April 20, I when I was in Mohican Youth Academy, TLO, you weren't there when I kind of had this conversation about being in this facility.
Yes.
So this is the guitar that I played when I first got a couple months after me being into the band. Um, into the worship band I was in. Well, you have you make money by working and everything there, like doing chores and stuff. They pay you $7 a day that you're there. So over a 9 month time, that builds up.
Right.
Especially when I was working in the kitchen, I was getting paid $10 an hour for every hour I was in that kitchen, cooking other people's food, including my food. And I ended up paying that. I ended up getting that, and here's how I got this thing. I graduated April 21st of 2016. I graduated high school in the program. Mr. Reader, who was the person that got me into it and has become my best friend to this day, said Dr. Miller needs to see you when we're done, and that was our pastor. So me, my mom, my sister, Mr. Reader, and my group leader walk with me back to his office. And here's this thing in the gig bag, TLO, and I cried. I walked out of there with a tuner. I walked out of there with multiple guitar picks. Now, mind you, I'm getting a guitar pick case that suctions onto the guitar so I don't lose them. So when
Right.
I'm done, I will slide it back into the thing and it
Yeah.
will sit there. I've had this guitar now 17, 18, 19, 20. I've had this guitar for 4 years. I mean, I'm 5 next year. And I love this thing, TLO.
That's awesome.
I love this thing. I play it when I'm depressed. And that's how a lot of my raps are too. Is when I rap, I'm in my emotions. You know what I mean? I connect with my emotions.
Yes.
Um,
It's
you know,
usually
it,
what people do through performance or art or music is they're usually expressing their passions and their emotions.
and I have a case for it, but the case is kind of beat up. It's a 4-year-old case. Bonnie, thank you. And you know what? And another positive thing is I'm getting ready to bring stuff up from the basement that's in my mom's basement and get it washed and bring it up here and start putting things in my room. Here soon the walls won't be so white. I'll have things hanging up on them. Finally, that's gonna get frames for them. And I'm gonna get my stuffed animals from downstairs. Yes, I'm 22 and I sleep with a stuffed animal. Is my I've had this stuffed animal for 12 years, Kilo.
I won't lie, I have a blankie that I've had since I was 5 or 6, so I understand.
I got this teddy bear at my dad's funeral from my best friend. His mom and dad brought it to me. And every night I sleep with this stuffed animal. And I'm gonna tear up a little bit because it reminds me of my dad. Soft, gentle, lovable. And I haven't slept with it recently. And I'm texting my fiance, guys. I'm just trying to waste a little bit more time than I'm on here because I'm probably not coming on tomorrow night. I don't know. See, and that's part of the reason I sleep with this because I hate sleeping alone, Bonnie. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate sleeping alone.
Yeah, it sucks.
It does. Like when Kenzie left, dude, Tilo, it was so hard for me to fall asleep in the morning. You know, what y'all are probably asking why is Dwayne up at 5 o'clock? Because I'm normally asleep at this point. Dwayne came home and went to bed last night.
Yeah, right.
But
Dwayne actually went to bed.
I actually went to bed during the nighttime. And you know what? I'm gonna give a shout out to my mother here because I love this woman no matter how late it was last night, no matter what plan she had, my mom is right there at my side in the hospital. When I was having my EKG done, when I was having them when the doctor came in, when they came in and did, hooked up my saline bag, they all, she was there for it, and like even when the Ohio, and I want to give a great shout out to the Ohio Community Coalition, for being there for me, because I was crying, when they told me today, Tila, they had to carry me from where I was sitting to the gurney. They had to physically carry me and put me on the gurney.
So it happened while you're at a protest?
But no, I was not protesting. This is not a protest. This is a drag event for an LGTB for
Oh, so
cis
this
and
happened at the
transgender people.
drag event. Oh my.
Yeah, after about 30 minutes after the event was over, I noticed I was gonna have a seizure. I told them like, look, hey, I'm gonna have a seizure. This is how I'm feeling. And they were there for me. They didn't leave my side.
Yeah, that is cool.
Mm, they didn't leave my side. They they're there. Hey Pam, it makes it even better. Pam's here. I just got to be off before 6:50. So, Tilo, do you mind wasting another 50 minutes with me?
Um, sure. I'm just trying to do cleaning, but it's just organizational cleaning now, so I can hang out.
And it's like, Tilo, you've heard me shout out the Ohio Community Coalition before.
Yes.
I love that group. I love it. Hey, Pam. And I love it. They were texting me throughout the night. I put them in a group chat, and I want to read a couple of the messages that they sent me this morning. Um, if I scroll down, Ashley, who was the president, I said, "Hey guys, I am home and recovering. Thank you, OCC, for the support and kindness I get from y'all." Ashley went like, awesome. I'm glad. Rest up. Kirsten said, glad you're feeling better with a heart. Abby said, so glad to hear from you, Dwayne. Let us know if you need anything. You know, and Abby stayed right by my side as they were walking me to the EMS, just rubbing my head because I was crying. I was bawling my eyes out last night on the way there, on the way to the ambulance. And dude, I had so many people, Kenny, Abby, Kirsten, Ashley, just walking behind me. They were all there, making sure I was okay. And you know what? That right there, TLO, brings faith back in humanity.
Well, there's examples of that all over. It's just not what people are paying attention to at the moment.
Sorry, guys, I'm trying to get my lighter to light. It's not wanting to cooperate with me. So the lighter fluid needs to go that way, so I can fill up a little bit more. Yeah, dude, I love these lighters, TLO, because they fill up by themselves. The clear ones,
The clear ones?
yeah, they fill up by themselves, and and I love it. Pam, hi Pam, we love you, Pam. Oh wait, where's Pam? Where did I get these? You can get these at Circle K, Speedway, Target. We're gonna. You can get these basically at any gas station.
For the most part, yes.
Now, Bics are hard to fucking find.
Not here in Minneapolis. We have Bics everywhere.
Fuck you, TLO.
I guess one of the perks of being in the upper Midwest.
In the Twin Cities.
That's right, the twinsies.
Has anybody heard? Does anybody have an update on the Portland, Oregon stuff going on? Has the feds left? From what I heard, they still there.
They're lingering.
So they're not
But
there as much when they're protesting now.
but they're not out there. They're like back at base, basically.
So they're letting these people protest and not
For the
getting in the
most
way.
part, yeah, for the most part. And but the I've heard that the sheriffs and the police have actually been doing a lot more just clearing people out as opposed to letting them do much protesting.
Uh, you know, and that irritates me. Ooh, I do need to fix myself. If anybody heard me talking on Friday when I was on my 30-minute break, and y'all heard me use that tear gas canisters were used, I was wrong. I need to fix myself from it. It wasn't tear gas canisters. They weren't shooting canisters. They were spraying people. I needed to fix my.
They're they're what?
They were
Be
spraying
clear.
people in Columbus.
Ah,
Remember TLO? I said that night that they were shooting people and everything. You
yeah,
were watching that night I was on. I was wrong. I got an update. They were spraying people with OC/ tear gas.
gotcha.
Oh, Pam said we had several tornado warnings this morning. Ouch. One didn't touch the ground, Pam, did it?
And see, there you go, because Pam is located, as I was referring to before, that periphery. She's on that outside ring of the bubble because
She's in PA.
she's in Pennsylvania, I do believe.
She's in PA, yep.
So yeah, if you think of like there's a big bubble hanging over the Midwest, say Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa-ish, the peripheries would be, Colorado's and the Rockies, the Texas Panhandle, maybe. You'll see them in like northern Louisiana, like what is it by Jackson or Fayette, I believe, or say in Kentucky, Tennessee, then up through parts of Ohio and Pennsylvania. And that circle, that bubble is going to stay in place and help keep the hurricane away. So it sounds like, just from the update from the hurricane, that it is kind of dissipating.
Right,
And,
TLO.
and what are you showing? What are you showing?
It says I couldn't find my fucking hamster. Found this nigga on the wall. It climbed up the fucking wall.
They are cheeky little fellows.
That little bastard climbed up the fucking wall.
Yes.
And I'm sitting here going, what the fuck? How the fuck you lose your hamster on the fucking wall? Do you know what one animal I cannot stand? I think these things are weird. I don't like them. Ferrets.
Oh, ferrets.
I hate fucking ferrets. I had this when I lived with Amanda. Jason had this fucking ferret, and that little fucker just crawled around my neck for fucking hours. I fucking hate ferrets. Like, I looked at that thing like, you stop fucking slithering around my fucking body.
I like ferrets because if you have them as pets, they are like so much better than a guard dog. Like they will kill somebody for you,
Oh
like
yeah,
straight up.
Indiana is Tornado Alley. For anybody who does not know, Tornado Alley runs through.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, Indiana is still part of Tornado and Alley.
We're gonna look that up, TLO, because I totally forget.
Just the outskirts of it, or the peripheries, as it were.
What
But
states?
yeah, no, there's and it does look like the bubble itself is somewhat dissipating, and so that's what's playing its part in the course correction of the hurricane.
All right, TLO, you ready for this?
Killer ferrets, yes, they can be. But
Yeah.
I've seen ferrets attack people for their owners or their masters. Like not intentionally, but if they felt that they were threatened. Oh yeah.
So these are the states that make up it's so I ran through Google here real quick.
All right.
Well, Microsoft Bing is what they call it. Is I'm using the new Microsoft Edge site. It says although
Yeah.
the official boundaries of Tornado Alley are not clearly defined, the main alley extends from North Texas through Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, Missouri, Iowa, South Dakota, North Dakota, states such as Minnesota, Illinois, Indiana, and my state, Ohio, are sometimes included in Tornado Alley.
Yes.
Hurricane Alley. I didn't even know there was a fucking thing. What the fuck?
Yes. There is
Hurricane
absolutely.
Alley runs through Texas and goes north through Oklahoma, central Kansas, and Nebraska, and eastern South Dakota. Sometimes doglegging east through Ohio, Missouri, Illinois, and Indiana to western Ohio. Fuck that. Nope, I'm out of this fucking state. Fuck y'all. I'm in the middle of fucking tornado, fucking Hurricane Valley. Nope, fuck y'all. I'm out. Fuck this shit. I'm out. Fuck that, TLO. Yep,
You're
nope.
fine.
And I'm not even in fucking western Ohio. I'm in eastern Ohio. Fuck that. Nope, I'm out. Got me fucked up.
Oh, Dwayne.
I'm in a good mood now. I'm in a really good fucking mood. I'm with family.
I do not want to live in Tornado Alley. Well, it's not like the worst thing. I would actually rather deal with tornadoes than living anywhere that deals with earthquakes or hurricanes.
I agree with that. Do you
Like
know what?
seriously.
Do you know what?
First off, I'm sorry, but you can kind of gauge or see the tornadoes coming. Earthquakes you can't. Like you
You
just,
feel them bitches coming,
you can kind of feel a gauge, but you can never like feel the big ones because the big ones always catch us off guard because we're like what we're doing right now with Cascadia. There's been numerous signs that it's going to go off, but it hasn't gone off. So when it does, it's going to catch us off guard because we've been sitting in anticipation, like this bated breath for so long that we're like, I wouldn't say complacent, but we're kind of like zombies, you
right?
know?
See,
You're
so you
kind of
guys,
in this fog.
right? So you guys want to hear the first cool fact? A really cool fact. So I'm in a group, right? I got to meet the first ever Jason Voorhees
Yeah,
on a
see,
live video.
I can handle being anywhere near any sort of earthquakes. I'm good. I am super straight. Earthquakes and hurricanes. That's Mr. TLO's no.
So TLO, you want to know something cool? And I'm gonna and I'm gonna screen share this. I got to meet this guy in person, and I got to meet this guy on a group that I'm in. And he was the real fucking deal. This guy right here, Ari Lehman. Ari Lehman is the actor singer who has the unique horror honor of playing the role of the first Jason Voorhees in the Paramount classic Friday the 13th of 1980. Here he is.
Yeah, that is cool.
That is Ari Lehman right there. And you know what? We're gonna talk about this because we have actually, me, you, and my mom, Tilo, had a very fucking interesting conversation one night. Because we sat there and talked about movies for what, an hour after my show? The one night
Yeah.
that we were talking about the whole terrorist bullshit, and we heard TLO go on his final fucking rant with that bastard.
Oh, yeah.
Which, by the way, that TLO, that title has recently regained its stick again and called a terrorist again.
Oh.
We're not
Jeez.
gonna talk about that because I don't want TLO to go on a rant that will never fucking end.
They're just fucking chowderheads.
Here we go. TLO, do I need to let you go in the soapbox for a minute?
No, I'm fine.
You sure?
Yes, my cat is asleep at the base of my across my feet basically. He's keeping my feet warm, so I'm not going to move him.
How is Garfield doing now after he decided to ram his head through the wall?
Oh, he's fine.
Is he back to his normal kitty cat?
Oh yeah, he is.
By the way, guys, Garfield is the official cat of the FRN. Say that.
That is correct.
If you guys want to donate to Garfield, go to the freedomrevolutionnetwork.com, click the donate button, or click the tribute button and go Garfield. Garfield.
Oh, my camera's still set up the other way. I was about to
Go
say I'm
to
gonna show you.
go
I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you the kitty cat.
Garfield. He is out. He is fucking not. Dude,
Right.
he's fucking not.
I told
Garfield
you. He's
is.
opened his eyes now. He probably heard you.
I'm sorry. I did not mean to wake your cat up.
Nah, he's fine.
I love. He literally looks like Garfield though from the movie.
Yes. No, it's very apt a name that he was given. So I like to call him Tub of Trouble, or the
Tub of
handsome
trouble.
orange. Or handsome orange fellow, the Hoff.
You know what? Like Bonnie said, oh, how sweet. That is a happy cat and feels safe and sound.
Yes, he is a very
Hi,
well kept.
Garfield. Except when he pisses Teal off at night when he first comes home and goes like, "I want my fucking kitty treats."
Yeah, he can be a little much when you first get home, but that's constant. It
That's
it happens because I'm not here as much as I used to. Like just imagine the fact that um we've had the what you may call it, the shelters in place and stuff. So for a very long time he got used to me being here pretty much 24/7, and so then he goes to having almost no access to me at all because I'm gone for like 15, 16 hours a day, doing two jobs. So it's been kind of a learning curve for him.
right. So,
Yes.
Tilo, to have our movie conversation here for like 20 minutes before I have to get off here and let Tim come on in a little bit. So me and Tilo had a really cool discussion. I don't want that.
Yeah,
Damn
I
it.
was
Yeah, I
about to
did.
say, already did like
I wanted that.
somewhat
So
review
me
some
and
movies.
so me and Tilo was talking about the Nightmare on Elm Street series. My mom. I can spell. And me and Tilo were kind of having a little heated discussion about it because I said there was one movie out of the best that I liked. Can I get the actual series where I have to use Google, you fucking thing? Right here. No, they're not right here. Fuck you.
Mr. Round Pound. I like that.
Mr. Round Pound. I thought that was funny as shit. What? It's on there? I'm going on Netflix here in a little bit. I'm gonna go find that because I want to watch it. So series what, 1 through 7? I want to see this. God, I just want the names. Can I have the names? Whatever. Fine. Be this way. Microsoft Bing, you fucking dick. That's good. Freddy Krueger scared the hell out of me. Dude, I thought he was fucking awesome. Looked all burnt up and shit.
Yeah,
And
he
I
made me
didn't learn the
laugh.
back. I didn't learn the backstory of Freddy Krueger until Freddy versus Jason is when they truly came out with his backstory.
What do you mean? They had his
He-
backstory for a long time.
but they never showed it in any of the movies or anything.
Well, no, they didn't show it, but that was on purpose. I mean, first off, do you really want to show a nun getting raped by, you know, a couple of hundred crazy prison inmates? Because that's how he came to be.
They did show that in the movie.
That's what I mean. Is like that's one of those things where, movie speaking or, thematically speaking, it's something that is actually far more haunting if you don't necessarily show it as opposed to then showing it.
Right.
Because if you let your mind work at it, like it gets to be it's something else. It gets to be that mythic status. Like when you show it, and for some people, it'll be like, because they've seen stuff. They've seen like stuff like Saw and that sort of thing, like very gritty, very visceral horror sort of stuff. They get kind of complacent or burnt out, or if you want to say jaded. So, like with that, and like with Freddy, I don't know. I thought it was better to just leave a lot of his backstory just as that, as just a story, because you can kind of fill out a lot of the stuff for yourself in your mind.
But I did like how he came to actually become Freddy Krueger and Freddy versus Jason. I did like that. I did like the fact that they showed how he became to become the notorious dream monster that he was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you get burned alive, then these what they call dream demons came to him and he became this fucking monster. Because at first that motherfucker was a pedophile.
Well, yeah. And at first he was more of just a vengeful ghost. And then they tried to make him more like some supernatural, like demon sort of thing.
Right.
So that's the reason why, like, a lot of people like me are kind of like the old school, and we kind of like just the having the evil spirit as opposed to like trying to make him something else, like some sort of like blown up, ooh, like I'm a super demon and stuff like that. Taking over the soul of this evil man, and now we get to work together to defeat good. It almost sounds like a bad Marvel fucking movie.
There's never been a bad Marvel movie.
There's been a couple bad Marvel movies.
No,
I really honestly was not impressed with Captain Marvel, and it had nothing to do with the woman thing or any of that bullshit like a lot of people make it out to be. It had nothing to do with that. Her character was very flat. You weren't really like invested in the backstory, and you couldn't really get invested in the backstory because it seemed like more like a bad commercial placement sort of gig. It felt very cheap, kind of like how I felt when I went and saw Ant-Man. Like Ant-Man is also another Marvel movie where it's like I could take it or leave it. I love the character of Ant-Man, and I love Paul Rudd as an actor because I think he's a great actor because he can do drama. He's got a great range. He can do
right,
drama, but he's fantastic at comedy. So it's like, I don't know. I like a lot of stuff where people don't have to necessarily explain it on screen or like have to show things. Because like part of it is like drawing up these sort of like images for yourself. Like movies are basically like a template, or they give you like the gist, like how with a novel or if you read a book, like they describe the
right,
characters, but it's your mind that fills those in. It's the mind that says, oh, this guy with the dark brown hair and with like the high cheekbones and like a narrow jaw. Like you fill in, you create that picture in your mind. And I like that more than
But you
just, oh,
do.
here's the picture. Because
You
then you
know,
have it.
right. You know
That
what
was kind of my problem with the new Star Wars, with the Disney Star Wars, is it
I
felt like that. It
hated?
felt like let's just make these pictures and just put all this shit in there. As opposed to with the original Star Wars, even the prequels, like they left stuff to the imagination. Like you were following the story, but they didn't show you every aspect because they thought you were dumb.
Right. That's true. You know, and I love movies like Star Wars and everything. I don't like the newer ones. I didn't like the new Freddy Krueger they try to come out with.
No, I didn't like the new Freddy Krueger either. I was not impressed. Like I thought the actor definitely he had a good attempt, but nobody's ever going to put their finger on it like Robert England. Um,
Robert
he
England
was
is a badass.
Yeah, he is a badass. He is the badass. Like I know him from a lot more than just the franchise of Freddy Krueger. I know him personally. For me, it actually started before I knew he was Freddy Krueger. I remember him as Willie on this
Yeah.
TV miniseries V, and not to be misconstrued with V for Vendetta. No, this was a beautiful miniseries, then turned into another secondary miniseries, then turned into a television show series. About an alien invasion, and it had all these great characters, and one of them was one of the alien invaders. Was a very kind of simple, kind of well-to-do sort of character, but he was just great and lovable, and he was very like it was hilarious because once you found out that it is Robert Englund and the guy who plays Freddy Krueger, and on screen does all these really icky, nasty things to people, and is playing this like lovable, like very cheery character, you're like,
Wait,
this
that's
guy's great. Yeah, like this guy can act. Like this, yeah, he's the shit.
you know what? And I guess the one favorite scene that I will never forget from the Freddy versus from the not Friday the 13th, but the Nightmare on Elm Street series is when basically Freddy Krueger turned into the TV and he went like, "Welcome to live TV, bitch," and slammed her head into the fucking TV.
Oh yes.
That or the one
I thought that one was from the Dream Warriors.
that was, and that was a good fucking one. That was a
Yeah,
good fucking scene. The
that was
one
one of
that
my favorites.
fucking creeped me out the most is when it was in the first ever Freddy Krueger movie. Is where he actually came out into real life and he popped up through this boy's throat. You can see his eye from his mouth, and he tore this boy open and walked out of this boy like nothing ever just happened.
Yes. Well, that's what I mean. Is like
That was the
that
first
was
ever.
the beginning of being like kind of more gritty and visceral. Not the very beginning, but it was some of the early stuff. And then we went through like a whole like increase of it because in the 90s it kind of increased, and that's where you had like stuff where it tried to add a little more suspense to it, and then in like the very late 90s early aughts, that's when you got like Saw and stuff like that. So it's all progressed and kind of mutated in its own way, and that's why it's hard to take like those old characters and stuff and like try and translate them to new ideas or new eras, basically. Because sometimes the characters only work, say, in their eras, and that's something I don't think Hollywood um, necessarily recognizes.
No, and Hollywood doesn't. You know, and Hollywood has fucked up a lot of movies. You
That's
know,
right. Willie was his character's name, and he was one of the invading lizard aliens.
Bonnie said, "I
Yeah, no.
remember that scene."
Oh yeah, oh yeah. No, he's
He
an
dude,
awesome actor.
he was a badass in He was a fucking badass, and I'm still so sad that his ever last one was Freddy versus Jason.
I know you keep going on about how you were very disappointed in that.
I was so sad that we're gonna look it up because I don't think that was his last movie. I'm still thinking I'm wrong. I'm fact checking myself before we end this. What was?
No, that was his last
I
because
don't
we had
think it
talked about.
was.
No, that was his last because that one was after the New Nightmare.
What was? What the hell is his name? Oh, Robert England.
Yes, England with the U.
England's last movie appearance was in 2003's Freddy vs. Jason. At present, the Wes Craven estate has the rights to the franchise and are actively taking pitch for new movies. The last movie, 2010's A New Nightmare on Elm Street remake, didn't kickstart a new version of the franchise like New Line Cinema had. But I am gonna screenshot because they got some fucking perfect images of Robert England, and I want to bring them up so everybody can see what this man looks like without his makeup on and with his makeup on. Because Tilo,
He's
I just
actually
think they're fucking amazing.
yeah, he's actually been in a bunch of movies, but everyone just likes him in that one movie. And to be honest, in that one role, I should say. And to be honest, he's even admitted that he loves being Freddy Krueger. He's admitted that he would return to doing Freddy Krueger because he still feels he's capable, and I believe he's still capable. He's still a very strapping man for his age. He's not in bad health. He's not. I don't believe he's battling any like cancers or anything like that. So I think he could return, and I think people would enjoy it.
Hey, there he is with the 2010 remake sucks.
Ha! See, yeah, he's awesome.
There he is sitting out in public.
Oh yeah, no, and he has always had
You know,
access or given access to fans. And that's one thing before we go that I will attest to is awesome and makes a difference between like real actors and kind of, to be honest, just the shitty ones that are there for a payday is the ones that give access to fans and are cool about it. Say like Keanu Reeves. Like he just goes about his day in public all the time and people run into him and he's just like a nice normal guy. And like if you treat him like a nice normal guy, he treats you like a nice normal person. And yeah, you'd be like, "Oh yeah, I liked
you
your
know
work
what?
and stuff like that." And if you don't gush on him and like try and take selfies and act all stupid, like he'll be like totally cool with you. And it's that kind of access and that kind of actor that shows like the quality of the actor through and through.
Right, and there's England there, young, got his glove on. Let me find another better picture of him being Freddy Krueger. Wow, that was a little bit gory. I'm sorry. Guys, this is going to be a little rated R here for a quick second.
Oh, Dwayne.
Look at the cartoon version, TLO.
Yeah, I
Look at the
saw.
cartoon image.
Yeah, no, I saw. That's enough.
But in the way they did his mask, of him ripping his mask off, and I'm gonna show this, I'm gonna stop being inappropriate for a minute. Okay, I'm not being inappropriate, but damn it,
Oh, Scarlett would probably say
this
you're
fucker
being
did a horrible
inappropriate.
job. This fucker did a horrible job. Yes. But look, the one where he was doing the face, where's it at? He was doing the face. See, look, even without the mask on, he does that perfect fucking
Yes,
image.
yes. Just like this right here. Bam.
Right. And you know what? So, anyone who meets Robert England, I've heard of people, that's met him, have asked him if he can do the face. he carries that glove on him constantly for people meet him.
Yep. That's what I mean. Is like he's like totally into it. He's like, yeah, this is what the fans want. They want to see me do this character. And like
You
I
know,
always
and
appreciate actors that are like cool with that. I hate the actors that are sitting there, oh, I don't want to just be associated by just this one character. It's like, well, if it's a character that's lasted for 20, 30 years and people still love them, why in the blue hell wouldn't you want them to recognize you for that character? Like
Tom
seriously.
like Tom Cruise is known for his character in Top Gun.
Exactly. Absolutely. And that's why you've got the next Top Gun coming out and you got Tom Cruise's, silly
They're
ass
doing
in
a
it.
remake.
Yes, they have a new Top Gun coming out. It was supposed to come out this summer, but it
You
got
know,
pushed back.
Tom Cruise is known for two characters. His one in Mission Impossible.
Yes, I was about to say his Mission Impossible has
And
gotten him a lot of money because it is a decent character. It's a character that kind of fits who he is as a person because
and
that's
he
how you can
doesn't.
tell the good characters and the good actors. They
And
do, they
here's the thing: is
perform. Go ahead.
he he's like Jackie Chan and does not do a lot of his stuff with stunt doubles.
Well, yes, there's actually a decent amount of actors now that will not use stunt doubles because they know that you lessen the performance if you can because you can see it. Like most people have that sort of eye. You can see when it's a double, you
Like
know?
right, like going to Ghost Protocol, he was fucking climbing up that window. He said there was something actually on that glove holding me on the fucking window. I had no wires, no nothing on. I was actually on the fucking window.
Yeah, and say for the most part people don't realize, but that moment in Skyfall
Mm-hmm.
in James Bond when he gets shot off the train. That was actually him dropping off the train. Like that
On a
is no
moving
shit.
train.
Yes, on a moving train. That was no joke. And they actually call it a Skyfall drop. It was
Yep.
patented in the 80s. And that's what you see like Hans Gruber in Die Hard. That's what it is. It's a Skyfall drop. You have
Look at
yourself
Jackie.
harnessed,
Yep.
but he
Look.
did it himself. Daniel Craig did it himself because he knew that
Yes,
that
he did.
you can't do that. You can't fake the audience out like that degree.
Look at Jackie Chan in the Rush Hour movies. All when he was on the fucking bamboo thing. Fucking
Yeah,
Chris Rock was fucking harnessed. Fucking Jackie Chan's just hanging there going like, yo, what's up?
exactly.
I do this for a living.
Exactly.
And Jackie Chan was the first ever actor out there not to use a stunt double like he did.
That is correct.
You
For
know what?
most of his main roles, he is the first actor to do that.
Look at let's look at another actor who was going through hard times when they were fucking acting. Look at fucking Roman Reigns. He was battling fucking chemo again, but he still showed up for his scene in the Sean Hobbs movie.
Yes, he did.
And he was actually battling leukemia.
Correct.
So look at all these actors that are known for their roles. Dwayne the Rock Johnson. I can't tell you how many fucking roles he's known for. Playing
Absolutely.
Hobbs in the Fast and the Furious is really what got him his name. Like that's a character that sticks with him now. But if you look at the
To be
Tooth
to be
Fairy,
honest, it is kind of what kicked him over the edge. He tried earlier in his career with the Scorpion King, but that didn't take off. And so, yeah, I would say that it is kind of where he's jumped off into like the mainstream like popularity because before a lot of people knew it and liked him as an actor, but they didn't like really like him as an actor until his stuff on Fast and the Furious. Because
like
I have all of his movies, all of his earlier movies, because I personally knew he was a great actor and a great human being.
the
I
Gridiron
follow him
Gang.
on super human being. I follow him on Instagram and Twitter, and he's constantly saying like all the right things. He's
He's
never
became a
said anything that's
motivational speaker.
stupid. Oh yeah. Well, I firmly believe if someone were to ask him, because actually I believe it was Larry King, who actually floated this idea when he was doing his interviews, some of his last interviews. One of them was The Rock. And he asked him, if someone were to ask you, would you be president of the United States? He said he would consider it.
He did.
And I would totally vote for him as president of the United States
Kanye West
in
don't got my
a
vote.
heartbeat. He is a smart man. He is what people were expecting from Trump. He is a true business owner and operator
Yeah.
because he has built up. He's got his own movie production company now. He's got his own fucking liquor business now. He's also got an
Yeah.
advertisement business now. He's also running I've heard he's going into management sports agents, like actually being a sports agent. So like he
He
knows what he's
manages a
doing.
couple in football.
Yep, absolutely. So
You
he
know,
knows what he's doing, and he seems like he's about his family. He's about the people around him. He's about people in the world because he always
right.
addresses issues that's going on. So it's like, yeah, no, I would, if he were to run, I'd be
Exactly.
like, oh yeah, Dwayne Johnson for president. Hell yeah.
And like look at his one movie, that he did that really popped off. The Gridiron Gang.
Yes.
Gridiron
Well,
Gang,
that
took
showed
a
him
fucking
being an
slam.
actual actor, doing something more than just being an action man.
But in the fact of it too, he took his own childhood experience and brought it into a movie. He even said in the interview there, that he was like, everything I said, everything I did was from pure raw emotion growing up.
Absolutely.
And he even said if I had the chance to work in a correctional facility like that where I can do something like that, he said he would. And
Oh
TLO,
yeah.
I believe me and you talked about that interview when I told you about it because I think you even went and watched it.
Yes.
But guys, I think we're gonna get off here because I want to play some games and Tim's getting ready to get on. By the way, guys, go fucking tonight, guys. Tim has a great fucking interview coming out. I'm not gonna say with who, but Tim has a good interview. Go and watch that, guys. He's gonna be on here literally in 19 minutes. In a good 19 minutes and 30 seconds. Go watch him on the original Red Pill Show. We're glad he's back. He's had some great conversations, some great intellectual thought. He's made my fucking brain go, and there's not a lot of people that can challenge my brain. Only Scarlett, TLO, and my mom and Red Tim can. Go watch him, guys. He has a great thing tonight. TLO, do you have any last words before we pop off here?
Just be safe. Just be safe. That's all. Like, be safe and be kind to people. Like, there needs to be more of that in the world because people are really starting to be irritable at everything. Even me. Even me. So just remember that, in some ways we gotta change the narrative ourselves. And one of the ways we do that is just being nice to people. So
Yep.
there you are.
And from the seas to, well, I am your host here in the Freedom Revolution Network News. As you guys have seen me a couple times when the protests were going on. I hope everybody has a great night from the seas, from the seas to the sky, and from the fucked up state of Ohio. Night, universe.